Hi, I'm Jamie and welcome to Teachers Tech. Today I'm going to show you how to use Google Slides. In this detailed beginner's tutorial, I'm going to start with the very basics and then work my way up so that by the time we're done, you're going to feel confident in creating and presenting your Google Slides. If you want to find something specific in this tutorial, just take a look at the description and you're going to see all the different timestamps where you can jump to different parts of the video. Let's get started today. To access Google Slides, you do need a Google account and get signed in. If you have one, go ahead, get signed in or create a new one. And you can do this all for free. I'm going to go get signed in with mine right now. Let me show you a few different ways you can start a new Google Slides presentation. I'm going to go up top to the Google Apps launcher right up here. And when I select this, I'm going to look for Google Slides. Notice it's down here. Since I'm logged in, I can adjust where this is in my Google Slides. So if I know I'm going to be using it a lot, I'm going to put it right to the top. I'm going to go ahead and just select this one. You'll see that it brings me to Google Slides. I can create a blank presentation or use one of the many templates that they have available for us. Now you can also navigate in here. So this is the main menu and I can go to Google Drive, and this is another place I can start a Google Slides presentation. I'm going to go back to the app launcher and I can also go to Google Drive this way. Now, once I'm in here, if I go to my drive and let's say to a certain folder, we'll go to this practice one. I like to stay organized, so I want to just be able to put my Google Slides in a folder and I know where it's going to be right at the beginning. So I can go inside this practice folder, start new, I have Google Slides, and I can go to a blank presentation from template, and I can even just right click and go to Google Slides. Now, another thing I can do is if I just go and I'll open a new tab for this, if I type just slides.new like this, and this will work for all the different Google products like Google Docs, I could type docs.new, but if I just type that, it's going to go ahead and create me a Google Slides and I'm all ready to start editing it. We have this slide that was automatically created when we started a presentation. Let's click in here and add a title. We're going to call this Pause for Success. And this is going to be a slideshow, and I'm going to go to the subtitle here and put Mastering Dog Training Techniques. So we have a title and a subtitle on this first slide. Now, I want to point out you should keep things named inside your Google Slides and Google Drive to keep things organized. Up top, it says Untitled Presentation. If I click in here, what it did was take the title from here automatically. I can call this anything I would like as well. Now that I have it named, I just want to check where it lives. So if I take a look at my Google Drive, I can go back and here it is right here. I could simply drag it to a folder that I want to go to. So if I go in demo, now it's in there. You'll notice that we have the option to move this as well. So if I click move, if I go and pick where I would like it, if I say practice, move, it will also move it from there. So if I go back to demo, notice it's gone. And if I go into practice, I've moved it. So you can keep things organized there. The other thing I want to point out is if this is an important one, go ahead and star this, and then you're going to get that right in your starred over here. You're going to see quick access to it to find it. So sometimes you can have a lot of Google Slides and they get lost. Let's go back and add some more content. Here's a tip for you. Before you go too far, you'd probably want to make sure you have the right format of your Google Slides. If I go up to File and look at Page Setup, I can choose on how am I presenting this? So is it just a 16:9, which is a common presentation? So for a TV or a widescreen, you drop down. This is what it used to be, kind of old school, 4:3, you see 16:10. But we could also do custom. So if I wanted it to be not a presentation, maybe I wanted it to be something like a document, I could go to 8 and just put in 11.5 and hit apply. So I'll zoom out a little bit. You can see where I'm going into the menu here, and I'll go to 50%. So now I have this page-like feature in Google Slides. I don't need to use it just as a presentation tool. I can use it to create documents, even to print or share if you want. At any time, you can go undo your previous steps up here, or you can use the shortcut Control-Z. So then it puts it right back to that previous step. When I open up this Google Slides, you probably notice on the right-hand side, we have themes. Now, themes make a great way that you can quickly change the font and the colors on your slide. So if I scroll through it, you can see all the different themes that we have. Now, let's say if I want to apply one, I can just click on it and it added the theme. The font changed on this one and it added the bars below and above. I can quickly change to any of these themes by just clicking on this. I'm going to leave it on this one for now. You'll notice you can close this down up top, but if I go up to the menu up top here, notice that we have different options here. I can go click on theme again, it will open it up. I can also go to background. So if I wanted to make a quick change to this slide and change the color of the background, you'll notice if I pick just like purple and hit done, and that's a terrible color. So if I want to do it, use the last tip of Control Z to put it back. But you can also put a picture as the background by choosing an image, and you could go do a search for it. So if I was going to go here and I'm just going to type dog as an example, we'll put this one right here. Notice it's highlighted. I get the insert and I hit done. So now I've taken an image and put it as the background and the theme is still there. But I would have to adjust this font and everything to make it look more appropriate to see. I'm going to go Control Z. If you do want to change the font, just simply click in a text box. You can see when I click on the text box, you'll get the border around it. I can drag across with my mouse, select what I want. A double click will select one word, a triple click will select the line. Go up top and you'll notice that we have text color. If you want a different color, let's make this red. I can choose a different font if I would like. So let's see, we'll go to this alpha one here and I can make these quick adjustments to it. We also do have italic or underline. I would be careful with too much underlining because, or any in this, a lot of people now think underlines are links and they'll try to click on it if you're sharing this presentation. So that's just a little tip. The other thing you can do is highlight any of the text. So if I choose this one and I'll just pick a yellow, and you'll see if I click off how the highlighting is in the back. Now I like the original way that we started, so I'm going to use Control Z and just go back a few steps to the color of the theme that was picked. Let's add some new slides to our slideshow. If we go over to the left here, you'll notice new slide or the shortcut Control M. If I go ahead and select it, I get a new slide right here. Now I want to point out when we did it, that was a default layout here. If I use the drop down to do this for a new slide, you'll notice I can choose the layout prior to adding the new one. So if I click that, here is my new slide I added again. I want to point out with any of these slides though, if I click on it and if I go back to this, there's a layout, apply layout. So I can change what's already there. So if I go to layout, notice I can go and pick this and it adjusts here. So you can quickly change the layouts to any of these. Some other things I want to point out is if you're selected in between the slides and click new slide, it will place it in that spot. You can quickly change the order of any of these by just simply dragging them around. So if I wanted this to be the first one, I can move it into place. If you want to delete any of these, you can just simply hit backspace or delete on your keyboard. And we also have the option of right-clicking on any slide to do different things in here. So you'll notice that the delete is here along with many other options. So if I hit delete, and you can also create new slides with the right click from here or apply the layout. So just some other tips when you're creating these new slides. You'll probably notice now I've added some new slides, and each of these has the topic as the title, what we're going to be doing throughout the rest of this video. Now in this slide, let's talk about text boxes, lists, links, images, shapes, and word art. If I click in here, this is where I can quickly add my text. If I click on the blue here on the line, notice that I have the text box selected. I can hit delete and it will remove it, or backspace will do the same thing on my keyboard. If I want to place a new one in, I can go insert text box and I could draw one here. I could go ahead and write something. And I could also add more than one. So I could go text box over here and you'll notice I have another one. So you could add text boxes wherever you want or delete them and customize your own slide. I'm going to go Control Z a few times to get back to the original one that I had. All right, let's say if we were creating a list, I want to point out the bulleted list or the numbered list up here. So I could go ahead and click here and then start adding information, or else I could add information and then adjust it. So as an example, if I put this information, let's say positive reinforcement is the head category and these are subcategories, what I can do, even if I highlight everything, and I could do it one at a time, and let's say bulleted, now it put them all in the same level. But I want these two right here to be indented. I'm going to go back up to, in my case, it's going to be under the more, and see I have decrease indent or increase indent. So if I click this, it pushes those two forward. So I can identify the main category with the subcategories underneath, and I can do this as well here and push it forward. So if I was going to go, if I hit enter, it automatically adds more to the list. If I was going to go and wanting, if I kept going, and let's say I had punishment here to this one, I would go back, and this could be another another main category where I could go and add my points to it. All right. Links. So links are a great way to navigate from within your Google Slides or even externally. So if I go up top here and we'll say this positive reinforcement, I want it to go to another slide. If I highlight positive reinforcement and look up into the menu up top here, so if we go insert, we can go insert link, or we could use the Control K shortcut. So now what it does is it can go to next slide, first slide, or slides in this presentation. Notice these, it's actually doing a little search for me on the web that found some because I have positive reinforcement highlighted. It's searching for that. But in this case, I want it to go to slideshow in this presentation. So all my different slides are there. So if I wanted to go to slide 6, add chart, now that becomes a link. So if I click on this, you'll notice that we go to slide 6 from within it, so we can jump around within the slideshow. Another thing you might want to do is go to an external site. So in this case here, I want I want a link that goes to this website. I can take this, I can just copy or Control C. I can go here, I can go into the link, insert link, and I can just Control V, paste it in and hit apply. So now I have this as an external link that can go somewhere on the web. So just different things that you can have your links do. If you want to remove a link, just click on it and you'll notice that you have some options from copy link, edit link. If I click on it, I can change it here, or you can even just remove the link and it will take it away. I'm going to go ahead and add a new slide in between here, just a blank slide, and I'm going to add some images and show you how you can format them. So now I'm going to go to Insert Image, and we have different options to where to get the image from. I could upload from my computer, search the web, get from Google Drive, photos, and so on, or even a URL. Let's say Google Drive. I have this one inside my Google Drive. I can select it, and as soon as I click on it, I have the insert down below, and I can click it. Now, as soon as it comes into your Google Slides, you'll notice that I can size it by grabbing one of the handles. So if I start dragging this in, it changes the size of it. I can also drag it anywhere around the slide that I would like it to be. Now, some other options, there's also the rotate, so I can turn and rotate it here, and I can also do some cropping. So with cropping, and I'll just put it back to normal by Control Z, I can go to cropping up top here, and notice we have some different options for this. So I'll go to crop it first, or we can double click, we'll get to the same thing. Notice how it's highlighted. Cropping allows me to show only a part of it that I would like. So if I only wanted to show this part, I could hit enter now, and now the image is cropped. If I double click on it again, I can put it back simply by dragging back, or I could do the Control Z to get back as well. Another cool thing that you can do is if I drop down on mask image, look at this. So if I go and find a shape or call out, I'll do this one, it will take that image and place it inside the call out. So you could add some, just make your images more interesting that way. Another thing you can do is format image options. So we have format up here, and if I click on it, you get all these different things. So if I click reflection, notice it adds this reflection, but you can expand this as well. So if I expand this, I can change the distance that I want. Notice there's the distance that changed, or the size of it, of the reflection, so I can make my own customizations. I'm not going to go through these all, but I just want to point out there's many different ones. If I wanted off reflection, if I wanted want to do a drop shadow, and if I wanted to maybe have the distance a little difference, and notice how I'm adjusting as I go through. It could be the opacity as I change. So you can make all these different changes to it. And the other thing I want to point out about images, you can also turn them into a link. So if I wanted to click on this, notice I still get the same option to insert the link. So I can go up top and I can go to somewhere in the slide, or I could even have it to an external website like I showed you before. When I select any of these images, you have the different options. If you wanted to have a border around it, you can simply add it that way too. But anything you click on in Google Slides, you're going to get the options that open up. So just to check your bar up top. If I go and insert another image, and this time let's say we do a search from the web, and this was the search here, so dog, you just type in what you want. I can add multiple pictures. So if I select this one and this one, I have two selected, I hit insert, it just placed them into different spots. Now, these should be Creative Commons when you search from Google inside Google Slides or Docs or so on. Another feature I want to point out is if you have your slide all formatted and you want to make sure your pictures stay in the same place, but you want to change the picture, if I select this, take a look, we have replace image here. So if I go to replace image, and I'll just use another search, and I could do a different search, but if I go to this puppy over here and hit replace, the picture stays in the same spot, in the same size, and it will just simply replace the image. So if you have everything set up, you can just save yourself some time by replacing the image. Another thing to know about images or objects, if I drag this over top, you can see how this one is over top. We can change the order of any of these images. If I right click, we have order here. I can say send back here or send backwards. I'll send it back. This is now this one over top. Let's go up and go to insert, and let's insert some shapes. And we have a bunch of different shapes that we can go through and add. So for an example, if I was going to go ahead and just pick this happy face, I can click and drag my mouse to see how big I want it. And we always can change, if we have it selected, notice that there's different colors that we can make these adjustments to, even things like border weighting and those quick adjustments. If I right click on any of this, you'll notice that there is an order that we can send back, send backwards, just like the images. So when you click on it, you'll get different formatting options on the side as well, like you could apply to any of the images. Another thing you might want to add if you don't want just normal font is a word art. So if I go word art, notice I can type something here. So if I just say, I'm going to go hello, just to keep this simple, and I'll hit enter. Now we have this word art that I can drag around anywhere here. Again, change your color. You can go in all the different options to the format here. So if you wanted to apply things like the drop shadow here, you can change your font and you can see how you can adjust it. So rather than just the normal font, you can type something and apply all these different format options. How to add videos. So I'm going to go ahead and add another blank slide, and we'll add some videos to it. If I go up top, insert, we have video right here. So I click on video and I can go from YouTube or Google Drive. So in this case, I have a Google Drive, a video in there. I can go select it just like the images and hit insert. So from my own Google Drive, it will place this in. So I can size this, move this around wherever I would like on my slide. Now I want to point out, and this is important, in the format options, we can do a few different things. How do you want this to play? On click, automatically, or manual? So when you're presenting this, do you want to be able to make sure you control this, or do you want it to play automatically when you go to that slide? I'm just going to leave it on click. So this is a very short video. The other thing is, if it's a longer video, you can say where you wanted to start at. So if I wanted this to start at just 9-second mark, when I click on this now, it's going to jump right to the 9-second mark, and then it's going to be starting there. So you can pick a certain area of the video to play. You don't have to have it play the whole thing. So these are things you can set up after you put your video in. The other thing, just like with images, we have size, rotation, position, drop shadow, all these different things you can apply to it. So we can also go from YouTube. So if I was going to go insert video, and this time I go to YouTube. I could do a search in here, or else maybe I found a video already. If I go Control C and I can just paste it in here, it will find the video as well. So I can go ahead, select this, insert this. Now this is a longer video. You can see it's 10 minutes. I can pick the exact part I want to show from that video by placing in here. And like I said, you can move these all around and set up your slides how you would like with the videos. To add audio, you need to have the audio in your Google Drive or have it shared with you. So on this slide, if I go to Insert Audio, and I already have this in my drive, so I can select it and click Insert. It will create a little icon, audio icon, and then I can choose some format options. So here it is here. Notice if I have this clicked on, you'll notice that it shows the length of it. I have a speaker here that I can adjust, and I can even change the playback speed. This here, over on the right-hand side, are some more adjustments just like the video. When do you want it to play automatically or on click? How loud do you want this to be when presenting? Is it just the subtle background music? Do you want to loop audio so it plays over and over and again as it goes through the whole thing? So if I wanted music the whole time, I could loop it, and I don't want it to stop on slide change. I would just take this off and then it would continue playing. So make sure if you are using audio to have it uploaded to your Google Drive, insert it where on the slide that you wanted to start. If you want to keep playing the whole time, loop it and make these adjustments here. Some effects that you might want to add are transitions and animation. Transitions happen between slides. So here's an example. On slide 2 to slide 3, I want to transition. If I click on this, go up to change transition, and I can choose one. Right now there's none. If I drop down and let's say I wanted cube, I can check what it looks like here, hit play, and it will show me what that cube one looks like. I could hit stop, and maybe I want to choose a different one like flip and play this one, and I'll see the transition. I'll hit stop. I can make some different adjustments. Maybe I don't want it to go as quickly, and it will go slower this time. If I hit stop again, I can apply this to all slides. So if you find one you like, so maybe I just want to do a simple dissolve one and I will go faster, apply to all. And over on the left now, notice that it shows that there's an animation of that transition. Now with objects, we can add animations to a particular object, but be careful with this because this can make slideshows. I've seen people add too many and it can just make it confusing to run. So if I click any of these images, what are an object, I can add an animation. So what do I want it to do? Fly in, let's say from the left on click, or how do I want to have happen? I'll just leave it on click and I'll hit play. And it will show me, if I click my mouse now, it flies in from the left. So each of these I could add another animation to. So if I click this object over here, I could go drop down. Maybe I want it to zoom in and I'll hit play to see what it looks like. And this time it will zoom in when I click, and I'll click again, and then that animation is added to it. So you can go through, add animations, you can add transitions. And the one thing I want to point out with your animations, you can change your order or delete from here. So if I wanted the zoom in to be first, notice how I can just change the order by dragging them around, and then that object, that animation will happen first. You might want to add a table to your Google Slides presentation. Under Insert, you'll see we have Table. We can pick how large we want it to be. Once we place it in, we can still modify it. So if I click in any of these cells, I can right click. Notice I can insert row above, below, columns left, right, or delete rows and columns. So if I wanted to delete a column, I can adjust like that. I can place some information into it, and I can go through and make some changes too, just like before. If I wanted to change any of the font, whether it be bold, the color, the size, all this will work. If you want to change an individual cell color, if I'm clicked in that cell, you'll notice that we have fill color. I can just pick the fill color that I want and it will make those adjustments. I can do the same thing by selecting multiple cells, pick a color, go back, pick a color, and I'm changing many at a time. You can size this up. If you grab the handles, notice how it changes. If I grab those 3 dots on the side here, I can grab the little blue dot in the corner to change it this way as well. You can move it around just like any of the objects by grabbing the outside on the gray here example to put it where you would like. And you can also hit backspace or delete to remove it from the slide. Another thing that you might want to do is add diagrams, and Google Slides has lots that you can quickly put in and customize. So if I go to Insert, you'll see Diagram here, and you can pick what type you'd want from here. Let's do a relationship one. We have these different examples here, and right now there's 2 areas. If I wanted to have 3, it will make those quick adjustments that you can have. And there's even a different color one that if you're a certain theme that you wanted to follow, you can go ahead and change it. So once you pick one, you can go ahead and select it, and any of these you can just go in and type whatever you would like in any of these. So again, take advantage of tables and diagrams in Google Slides to make your slides more effective. Let's go ahead and add a chart. I'm going to go on this slide and put Insert, and we have Chart. We can go quickly from bar, column, line, pie, or if we have the data, we can go from Google Sheets and then put a chart in that way. I'm going to choose column. And what you're going to see, it's going to insert a column chart here, but this data isn't right. We have our own to put in. So what I need to do is go to Open Source. This is going to open up a Google Sheets, and this is the area that we can adapt it with our data. So I'm going to go ahead and place our data in here. And notice that we have the sit command, stay command, we have week 1, week 2. We have week 3 missing. We can make some adjustments to this. So just like before, we can edit our chart, and you're going to see on the right-hand side where we can make these changes. So the area through here is going to go to A1 to E50. That will work, but I need to add a series. So week 3. So I'm going to click Add Series, and I'm just going to go week 3, and we've quickly adjusted this. So I could keep adding more series, make any changes here. Now, if I go back to Google Slides, notice it's not updated here. We just need to click Update. So when we make any changes to the Google Sheets over here, there's a link, it's connected. So we just need to make sure we update it, and we'll be able to place this chart in. And with any of these things too, if you want to make any changes over here to the way it looks, if I double click, I can go and make changes to the coloring and different things like that through here and update it, and it will show over here. If you want to add speaker notes, notice at the bottom where it says click to add speaker notes. I'm going to stretch this out by grabbing this handle. I can put in my notes. So if it was going to be about this slide with the specific information, I want to have notes that keeps me on track and so I don't forget anything. And these are going to show up when you're in slideshow view. So you can go through and add them to any of the different slides here if there's any points you want to remember, and you can adjust this when you're working on them or add your notes as you go around. So how do you present this now? I want to show you a few different ways you can present your slideshow. Up top here, we have slideshow. I can click Control 5, and since I'm on slide 1, you can see it's highlighted over here. When I click this or hit Control 5, it will open up on that slide. So I'm in present mode right now. Notice we can hit the escape key to get out of this. I can move forward with the right arrow on my keyboard. And each step, so if I go through, you notice that we have the different things, the animation that we added to it, and also the transitions are happening, and the videos will get played at the point where we told them to start. I can go left arrow to go backwards on any of these as well. You can click on your slide and it will go forward. So there's lots of different ways you can move this. If I go back a few slides here, I just want to point out, if I hover over the left-hand corner, notice I have options where I can go forward here or backwards, and we get lots of more options here as well. I want to point out that there is a laser pointer, or we can turn on a pen that we can even mark this up. So you could go through a bunch of different ways. I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard and it will bring me back. We can also drop down here. We can go in presenter view. And I like to do that, especially if you have the speaker notes. And we also have this new presentation display options. And you can go from here, presenter view as well. We can present from the beginning and pick the customization that we need. So I could go start slideshow. So now what you're seeing is we have our presenter view over here. So if we have two different monitors, I might see this and the rest of the people see this. And we have audience tools here. We can even hit start new. As I'm presenting, people could go to this site right here. They could type this in and questions would appear for you as you're presenting it. The other thing we have, if we go through, if we're going to, let's say the chart, notice if this is up and this is what people are seeing over here, I could see my notes. So I can navigate myself through these different views here. I can use my arrow keys. And so I'll see all my notes on one monitor and people will see the presentation on the other monitor. If you would like to collaborate with people on this, you can go up to share, click on it. You can add the people or groups that you would like to share this with. So if I had a different person I was going to share it with, I could add it and choose on how I want them to work with me. Do I want them to be an editor or do I only want them to have view access to check out what I've done? But maybe I want them to comment too, but without changing anything. So you would pick how you adjust that. You can also send them a message, and if this is clicked, it's going to notify them. Just click send and you're going to get, they'll receive that message. It's also going to say that since I've used other things in my Google Drive, I need to make sure I give them share access also. So right now it's set to viewer. I can go through and hit share, but it will recognize if those things aren't right. Another feature is the revision history. So you can go back in time to see, this is good, especially if you're working with other people. If I go to version history and go see version history, it will show me all the different changes made. In this case, it's just me, but if multiple people are working on it, you can see who did what. So if I expand any of these here, it will show me the specific changes made at any time. And then I can click on any of these and it will go back in time, making those changes to any of the slideshow. So if I go further back in time, you can see all the different times and different slides will change here. Now, what I can do is restore to this version. So you could go back and then restore to that specific version to that specific time, or make a copy of that version. So something to know about if you're working with other people. The last thing I want to point out is that you can download this in different formats. If I go to File, Download, I can download this as a PowerPoint as well. So if I do that, this will download as a PowerPoint and then I could open it as a PowerPoint. I could also download this as a PDF. So maybe that's the way I want to be able to share it with people, or things like images like JPEG or PNG. So we have some different options to download it. I hope you liked this detailed tutorial today on how to use Google Slides. Let me know what else you're looking to learn. Thanks for watching this week on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.